So let me tell you a story. A friend of mine runs an HVAC business out of Brisbane, went on a site visit not too long ago. And this was one of his regular customers. They've worked together for years. Their children play in the same Saturday footy league together. So he shows up. This is a maintenance visit. So he's checking the filters, the gas pressure, going over everything on the site. And out back, he sees something new. A brand new Daikin heat pump system just glistening in the sun out there. And he says to his friend, "Hey, where'd that come from?" His friend says, "Hey, yeah, I just got that put in last month. Isn't it great? Hey, you don't do heat pump systems, do you?" And the color just fell from his face because, of course, he does heat pump systems. That's actually one of his bread and butter services. But his customer, no, his friend, had no idea. And it's not because he did anything wrong. It's not because his work wasn't good. It's simply because he failed to mention this to his customer. And that's all it takes, isn't it? One missed message, and all of a sudden, somebody else is on your site working with your customer. The trust that you have with your customers is the most valuable thing that you have in your business. And I can prove it. How many trade businesses do you know that have grown from 0 to 10 million in a year? 0.00. And the reason is because it takes time. It takes time to build that trust, to get that regular set of customers who are going to be coming back, who are going to be loyal, who are going to build that base of demand for your business. And usually when we talk to people, we'll talk to somebody in low voltage security. They'll say, "Hey, we're doing low voltage security today. Before that, we used to do locksmithing. Before that, we actually built wooden boats and we sold abacuses." Like, these businesses just take time to build. And once you get those customers and you're feeling good, they're feeling good, you're doing good work together, it's your responsibility to really hold on to that customer. Make sure they remember you. Make sure they're aware of all the different services you offer, because whether you're staying in touch or not, you can be sure that your competitors are. They're going to be trying to get into that site, and if you're not keeping in touch, if you're not keeping those customers, growing your business is going to be like refilling a leaky bucket. And this is the problem that we solve at Delight. We help you be the best partner to your customers that you could possibly be. And we ensure that while you're sleeping, we're making sure your customers are thinking of you. We make sure that you're aware of all that you do, whether it's CCTV, backflow testing, or both. And we give you a way to measure the exact revenue, the exact jobs that you're getting from Delight, so that you know at the end of the day what Delight is driving for you. And it's got 3 key benefits. So number 1, it helps you grow measurable revenue quickly. Number 2, it makes your demand more predictable so that your technicians are busy, so that you're more profitable. And then the third thing, which is the most important, is it helps you be the best partner you can possibly be to your customers. You can be the type of business that they never want to leave, that they always want to work with. And so today, I'm excited to show you the product, show you how we're using AI to do this. But first, I'm excited to chat with Noam Horenczyk from the partnerships team for a brief conversation. Thank you, Noam.
Yep. Hi, everyone. Some of you just saw me on the other room. So I'm Noam. I'm from the Simpro partnerships team. I run global tech partnerships. And I think one of the the reasons I'm on stage is because I've been working with Will since like July 2024, probably. My role is to identify gaps in the product that can be solved with partners. So as you probably, all of you know, Simpro can't do everything. One thing it can't do well is be a proactive marketing engine for you. So you can set up Simpro perfectly, and you can have all the workflow set up and how to dispatch and how to identify which technician can go to the job and how to order materials and how to invoice and all that stuff. But if you don't have people coming in and you're not reaching out to customers, nothing's going to go through that glorious pipeline of Simpro. So we had a conversation with Delight last year, and we said, hey, Simpro is not a proactive marketing engine, but our customers are asking for it. Our customers are asking, hey, I'm using Simpro, I've set it up, but can I use a partner tool to kind of like help me understand how to reach back out to my existing customers, how to find new customers, how to create the messages, and Simpro just doesn't do that. So that is why we partnered with Delight, and you will see the demo and you'll see the results in a few minutes.
Great.
Yeah. And I have a question for you, Will. So what is this, when people think about these kind of things, is this residential, is this commercial, is this for both? Like who's the customer that is relevant for this product?
That's a great question. And before I answer that, I actually have a question for you in the audience. So a couple questions. So number one, by show of hands, how many of you follow up on quotes after you send them out to customers? Now keep your hands up. How many of you are following up a week later? A month later? 3 months later? 6 months later? Okay, so whoever's in the back over there, you are a hero. I think we had one person who's doing follow-up after that amount of time. And another question, so how many of you have launched a new service in the last year for your business? Okay, another good show of hands. And then keep them up. How many of you let your customers know about that service proactively? Okay, a little bit better.
Some went down, yeah.
And then last one. How many of you have information in Simpro about assets or equipment at customer sites that needs to be replaced? And then how many of you are regularly staying in touch to let them know, remind them, really target them, and make sure they, okay, so not as many there. So that's helpful. Thank you for participating. That kind of gives me a good sense of the room and kind of how the status quo is being done today across your businesses. So Noam, this is a great question, right? Is it for commercial, is it for residential, or is it for both? Mm-hmm. So we see all different types of businesses. They're all represented in our customer base. We have commercial, we have domestic, as they call it here, and we see hybrids as well. And I think where AI can really come in and do this is when you have a small customer base, 50, 100 customers, you can buy them lunch, you can call them on the phone, but then once you get to the point where it's hundreds, then you really need a tool like AI to make you more efficient. Otherwise, this really important job is just not going to get done. Now, most of our customers are in the commercial space. And we love commercial businesses because commercial businesses, they have needs all the time. Whether it's a direct business, whether it's an industrial facility, maybe it's something like a property manager or somebody who's owning multiple sites. Like you really want to be at the top of their list so that you are regular, that they're reaching out to you, that they are aware of all the different things you do, because that could be incredibly valuable for your business. So the short answer, across the board, but we especially love to see the impact that we can drive for commercial businesses.
And what surprised you working with the Simpro customer base, the field services companies?
Yep. So I do demos a lot on Zoom with customers, and that's usually the beginning of the customer journey. And what surprises me is how often during the call they say, hey, hold on 1 second, and they got a phone call. And then 5 minutes later, oh, hold on 1 second. And they got another phone call from somebody else on the team. Like, these people just don't have a lot of time. There's a lot of effort, there's a lot of energy, but just the amount of things, once the trucks get moving, once the day starts, just how much they have on their plates, how much there is to do, it just astonishes me. And it's kind of interesting, like in the trades, people work so hard, but there's such important jobs that just don't happen, that don't get taken care of, just because of the hectic nature of the day and all the things that these people have to do. So really for us, like people will tell us this all the time, like, hey, if this takes 2 hours to set up, like this is a non-starter. You could have built the greatest piece of software in the entire world. We can't use it. Like I have 10 minutes, I have 20 minutes. Can we be up and running in 20 minutes? Like we've talked to a customer and had them live in an hour from the initial touch point with the customer. And so the thing that we've really worked on and focused on with Delight, and I'll show you this a little bit in the demo, is like if you're using Simpro, you're already 90% of the way there because the platforms really are tight and it's really able to kind of set up and administer itself.
Show them.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, thank you. Appreciate it. So I'd love to show you how it works. I was told, get to the demo as quickly as possible was the guidance before I came up here. So, okay, there we go. Okay, so Delight helps businesses automatically re-engage customers with very smart, very personal outreach based on real behavioral patterns. And there's 3 things that we focus on. So number 1 is personalization. Customers get real, relevant nudges instead of spam. Number 2, ROI. So you can actually measure who came back, when they came back, why they came back. And then the 3rd piece is simplicity, as I just mentioned. So it takes about 20 minutes to get up and going, all in. So let's start with simplicity. So I want to start by showing you just how easy it is to actually set up Delight. So as I mentioned, 20-minute onboarding, which what that means is that the system needs to be able to use AI to really autonomously set itself up so that you don't have to do it, so that you don't have to do that manual data entry. And so before you even come into the software, there's a few different things that have already happened. So number 1 is your branding. Your logo, your colors, your addresses, your tone of voice, your fonts. All the information about your business, about your brand, about how you communicate with your customers, that's all going to be brought in automatically before you do anything. The second piece is your services. So what do? What are the different services that you offer customers? What is the language that you use to describe those different services to your customers? Who are those services for? So a lot of folks, they'll have tags or different customer groups. So Delight can pull in the services, pull in the description, actually automatically align them to different groups of customers using the history of what's actually there in Simpro. And then the last piece is, and I'll show you a little more AI magic here, is all your brand assets. So everything on your website, all the images, Delight's going to pull all that in. It can actually use AI to look at it so that it knows ahead of time what are these images of, what services are they most relevant to. And so you take all this together and you're coming into a furnished house. Like really onboarding's about reviewing, maybe establishing a few priorities and then really just understanding how to use the product as opposed to any net new content that you need to create in the product. And I tell you the truth when I say we have customers who sit there, they come to onboarding, they smile and nod, they say that's interesting, and then they never touch it. They just let the system run and do its thing. So let me show you a little bit of what that looks like. So a key part of the application is measurable ROI. So we want to be able to capture every job, every quote, everything that the software is pulling in. Like we want to be able to quantify that for you so that you really understand the value that you're getting. And so to do that, Delight does a very deep analysis of all the information in Simpro, as well as customer engagement patterns, to really determine what is driven by Delight, and what is just like the normal course of business. So we look at different factors like, number 1, how long was the customer dormant? Number 2, how quickly after we communicated with them did they actually come back into the funnel? How deeply did they engage with the email communication we sent? And then is what we actually talked about with the customer what they ended up coming back and purchasing from us? The average business we work with drives about 15 to 25% more revenue within a couple months of starting using Delight. And so it's pretty exciting, and I think it really speaks to just how busy people are and how, on average, just people are really not able to keep up with the customer communications on a day-to-day basis. So let me show you a little bit of what that looks like. So this is an example of a commercial customer. And the first thing you'll see is that everything about the customer is automatically brought in from Simpro. So the quotes, the jobs, the technician notes, all that's brought in automatically. And then what Delight will do with that data is come in and say, okay, based on what we know about this customer, like what are the conversations that we should actually be having with them? What are the services we should be making them aware of? What should we be following up on? Like what are the key 2, 3, 4, 5 things for this customer? And so if you look for this particular customer, this is in the fire and security space. The system's recommending a security system upgrade. So This particular business, they have an outdated panel. It's about 17 years old. The manufacturer went out of business. So if they are going to remain protected and secure, they really need to look into upgrading that panel. Another example, in the fire and security business, it's very normal to do annual test inspections. In fact, it's required by law in the case of fire in a lot of municipalities. So in this case, this customer hasn't had a test inspection in about 6 years. Seems like something to reach out to them about. Either A, they're going to somebody else, or number two, they're not getting it done. Either way, this is a very important thing to be getting back in front of your customer about. And so you can see, it's almost as if you had a couple hours to spend like looking at each individual customer, really digging through the data, trying to find different opportunities or relevant things to talk to them about. Like that's all happening, but it's just happening through AI, which is able to go in and use the data from your Simpro to actually do that for you. And then the last piece is the system will put all this together. So it'll take your branding, it'll take your imagery, your fonts, your colors, your tone of voice, the content about your services, the unique history of your actual customers, and then it'll put together an on-brand, one-to-one, personalized communication to ultimately take that customer who's maybe a dormant customer, maybe an old customer, make them a new loyal customer once again. So just to summarize a few key things here. So number one, Delight is super easy. You can be up and going in 20 minutes. There's no ongoing investment in the software to use it. Number two, it's very deeply personalized. We take advantage of all the data that's in Simpro to really do this in a targeted and intelligent way. Number three, typically we can generate about 20% more revenue and jobs for the businesses we work with. So thank you very much. Appreciate y'all listening to the demo here and checking out the software. And okay, so as impressed as we've been with the impact we've been able to have for Simpro customers, we're even more excited about what's possible from here. We really share Simpro's vision of an AI-powered future where businesses are more efficient, they're more profitable, important jobs are just happening as opposed to people needing to manually go out and make those jobs happen. And in the coming months, we're super excited about how we can continue to deepen the opportunity and the value that we're able to provide Simpro customers. One example of that is a lot of folks using the product will ask us, hey, these insights are great, and I see that you're getting a lot of engagement from our customers. Now, how can we bring that data to everybody who's going on site? How can we bring that data to the sales team in the office? Like, we want this kind of insight and this kind of knowledge about our customers to be part of our everyday process. And so that's something that we're actively working on extending right now. But in the meantime, everything that I showed you now, that's all available today. I will be here for a little bit more today. I'll be here after the session, so please feel free to come by, have a conversation. The other thing you can do, actually, that's a QR code that'll take you to our website. You can go and book a direct personalized demo there if you want to go a little bit deeper, see more about the software. But thank you all. Thank you.
We do have time for a couple of questions if you like, though.
Yes, yes. I was going to say thank you, and then we were going to switch to some Q&A. So thank you so much.
Right.
Okay,
Quiet crowd, but surely we have questions on this, because I would if I had a business.
We have extremely bright lights here.
Oh,
so we'll try to see the hands.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
She'll do it.
Yeah, I was just wondering, with that system, how often do you find you can re-engage with clients? Like, can you do it? Do you do it once a year, once every 3 months before it's kind of peaks out?
Yes. So the goal of the system is, as a user, you don't actually have to think about that. And the system uses data to understand what the ideal pattern is for the communication. So we have a couple different modes. We have a high-frequency mode, which is, hey, our schedule's light. We really need to hit it hard and get some customers in the door. Otherwise, our technicians will be sitting around. We have a lower mode, which is, hey, we're booking out 2 months. We need to really kind of slow it down. But then we also have an AI-optimized mode, which keeps you in the happy place of like staying top of mind, really kind of getting in front of customers on a regular cadence, but not tipping into that area, which we've all kind of been there with different products who feel like they need to just email you all the time, where you end up getting frustrated and getting annoyed and getting unsubscribed. So we found that happy place. I'll share some of our secrets. It turns out to be like once a month is about the ideal cadence for communicating with customers through email. It's a great question.
Oh, I've got two.
You talked about the commercial customers, and I can see the benefit of once a month. But if a Strata manager that we have has 10,000 properties, how do you manage the cadence and make sure that you're not killing them?
Strata is an Australian term. It means property manager.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
American.
Yes, thank you for translating.
Yeah, Strata means nothing
that's
to
why
you,
you're
but
from
yeah, no.
my translator.
Australian, yeah.
So this touches on a really great question, which is something that I'm very excited to talk about because we spend so much time on this, and it's been a huge part of the integration with Simpro is just the hierarchy of what's in there. So you have the customer has it can have contact details associated with it. It can have contacts. Then you have sites. Sites can have contacts as well. And then sites also have assets. So the short answer is we have seen every single variation of different ways to use this. And so in Delight, we have a way of looking at just the site level. So we can kind of assume that those assets are associated with the people on the sites. We look at the customer level. We assume that there is association with the different sites, that they're all relevant to that customer. And then there's also the primary contact as well. So the short answer is you have to be smart about it. Other things you see is there will be duplication of contacts. People will put their own email addresses on customer records in Simpro. People will have accounts payable and accounts receivable and things like that on the customer records. So there's a lot of kind of magic that happens behind the scene to really make it as simple as possible for the user and to ensure that we're just doing the right smart thing for them.
Yeah,
That's
they have a very deep integration into Simpro. So I get a lot of questions from partners. I got probably the most from Will and his team about really trying to understand site contacts, regular contacts, customers, employees, subcontractors, all that stuff. Anything in Simpro they know how to analyze. We've worked a lot with them to make sure that they can use it properly.
So today it's email, and you could argue it would be great to be on all channels, and we will be eventually. The reason we do email is because usually the businesses we work with, there's, it's not just a one-time event of, hey, I'm going to, send this customer a message. It's more of an ongoing conversation, and people need to be told multiple times about things. There's also usually multiple things that are relevant, like there's services you want to educate them about. There may be notes from a past site visit about issues they have that maybe they haven't gotten addressed yet. And so if you were to be texting them about all these things all the time, I don't know about you, I unsubscribe from every text that I get from somebody who starts sending them to me on a regular basis. So email's a great channel. We all live out of our inboxes. We're going to read emails. It's not too aggressive, so it's a good way to kind of open that dialogue and be able to keep a consistent stream of communication over time, without tipping into that, okay, you're really going to take off the customer mode.
We've got one here.
How much human review do you feel like is needed? And if there is feedback from humans on the communications, like how do you feed that back into the algorithm?
Yep. So the secret of AI is it could be like the best AI product in the world or the worst AI product in the world. And you would not know from watching a demo of the software because you really have to get in and use it and see the quality of the communications and really kind of get that level of comfort with it for yourself. So usually the life cycle of what we see with customers is they'll onboard in 20 minutes. They'll start it on a very low level, so maybe they'll do 5 a day for the first week or so. We actually send them updates every single day so they can preview what's going out the following day. They can see kind of what the customer engagement's looking like. And then usually people in that first week, they'll kind of watch it closely. And then as they build the comfort, they'll kind of let it settle back to its normal level. And that's a pretty normal pattern for customers. We've spent a lot of time working on the quality of the emails, the quality of the integration with Simpro. So we get a lot of really good feedback about, First of all, I couldn't have found that information in Simpro. My Simpro, the data may not always be entered in the same way. So the fact that we can take that full set of information, like just the amount of insights it's able to get, we get a lot of positive feedback, but also the quality of the communication as well that it's able to do. But it's a great question. I think with all AI, like you really, crawl, walk, run is really the way to go, and we see that with our customer base as well.
Can we get one more?
I'm just wondering, like, how deep do you go into, like, analysing assets? Because commercial's fine. It's 6 and 12 monthly intervals. We're in the fire industry, but we also do heavy equipment, and it can have a bunch of assets for a fire system on it. I just want to know, like, how, like, when you bring up, oh, it hasn't had this in so much time, is that broken down by, like, asset or just the overall site, the overall machine?
Yep. So we have customers who, they'll just have assets mentioned in job notes in passing. We have customers who will have a site with 2,000 temperature sensors on the site, and they've painstakingly entered each one of them as assets. Now, once we identify, so in Simpro, there may be an asset and there may be work associated with that asset. So there's a lot of just kind of, before the AI can do anything with it, just cleaning it up. Let's say there's a fire suppression system. Being able to say, what is the quality of that system based on, have there been service calls on it? Like, what's the maintenance history actually look like? So that's the first layer of kind of putting that information together. Beyond that, we use AI. We're connected to the web, so we can do additional research on assets as well. So, if there's systems like a Silent Night 3700, that's an outdated system. The software will know that. It'll be able to target them and say, hey, look, that's a discontinued system. You should replace that system. In the HVAC space, it's able to figure out R22 refrigerant is something that's being phased out in the United States, probably being phased out here as well. And so it's able to do that level of research to not only identify what the asset is, what's the history of it, and what's going on with it, but then also bring in third-party external information to really understand the specifics about that model number and that manufacturer. But that's I think the number one thing. So number one, people will talk about quotes, and nobody feels they're as good on quote follow-up as they could be. Number two is assets that need to be replaced. Those are the big install jobs. Those are very relevant. Those can really boost your business. And then number three is, like before, just educating people on all the different services. Those are probably the most common use cases that people are interested in using the software for. I see a very giant shining
bar.
red. Yes, it's very scary from this side once you get past time. But I just want to say thank you, Noam.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Simpro team, who have all been so wonderful. And thank you all, the audience, for being here. Thanks for giving us your time. And if you want to chat further, please feel free to book a demo, go to our website, delightapp.io, or find me out in the hall after this. So thank you so much.
Thank you.